Joining us right now is one of the senators who negotiated this deal to reopen the government, one of the 8 Democratic senators who voted for the deal, Senator Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire. Senator, thank you so much for being here. Why is this a good deal?
Well, one of the things that's happened over the last 40 days of this shutdown is that people in America understand who's on their side when it comes to health care and who is not. And it's very clear that President Trump and the Republicans in Congress have blocked the ability to extend the premium tax credits. And as I said in my statement last night, they were very clear that they don't care about this, that one more week or one more month is not going to change their position. So we need to get the government open because we have millions of Americans who are suffering, whether it's because they're not getting their food benefits or because travelers can't get their flights because of what's happening with the aviation system and air traffic controllers, federal employees who are not getting paid. And this is a deal that brings back those federal employees who were let go during the shutdown. It makes sure that everybody gets their back pay. It provides protections for workers going forward, and it gets people their food benefits. Part of this deal was making sure that we could pass bills that have been already passed by both the House and Senate and agreed to that fund things like SNAP benefits, the food program, the WIC program for mothers and children, that fund veterans benefits. So while we still have to argue about extending the premium tax credits, and I intend to be part of that fight, we're going to have a vote on the floor of the Senate to do that on a bill that the Democrats are going to write. So that's something that we are going to keep before the American people for the next month.
If this is the best deal that could be had at this point, given the circumstances of this shutdown, not all Democrats agree. And I know that you've seen all of the statements that have been made. From Elizabeth Warren saying, I think it's a terrible mistake. The American people want us to stand and fight for health care, and that's what I believe we should do. Senator Bernie Sanders says this is about to make a horrific situation with regard to health care even worse. And the governor of Illinois, Pritzker, says this is not a deal, it's an empty promise. And the head of the House Progressive Caucus called this a betrayal. Accepting nothing but a pinky promise from Republicans isn't a compromise, it's capitulation. Can you respond to that?
Well, this is an opportunity for us to continue to fight on extending the premium tax credits and the cost of health care and making sure that Americans know who's on their side and who's opposed. And I introduced a bill to extend the premium tax credits. That's my legislation. I did that in the very beginning. Introduced the 2 extensions. That was my first legislation this year, and I intend to continue to fight for that. And hopefully the Republicans may hear us. But all those people who opposed this agreement, staying in a shutdown mode was not getting us anywhere. And they need to train their fire on the people who are responsible. That's President Donald Trump, it's Speaker Johnson, and it's the Republicans who have blocked every attempt to get health care. We need to be working together. That's what I intend to do.
You say you're getting a guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that, as you said, the Democrats will be writing, and it will not be Republicans who will write it with regard to health care subsidies. If it needs 60 votes, Senator, what are the chances that this subsidy lives through the new year then? If you have to get 60 votes, the chances are what that this survives the new year?
Well, I think finally, because of this shutdown fight, we've had a number of Republicans who have figured out that this is an issue for them. This is not a red state issue or a blue state issue. It's an issue about making sure that people can afford their health insurance. And so we've heard from a number of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle that they're willing to come to the table, they're willing to work with us once the government's open to get this done. We've heard the same thing from the White House. So now we'll see. We'll see if they are really going to work with us to make sure that Americans can afford their health insurance.
Senator, if this vote comes, I mean, as you say, it's guaranteed in December. This vote comes and fails, and the subsidies then expire. Does this effort that you just went through, this vote that you have just taken, will it have been still worth it, or will this feel like a failure?
No, because we are not going to give up. We're going to continue to fight on making sure that healthcare costs are affordable for Americans, and they are going to know who's on their side and who is not. And we're going to take this fight into the next elections in 2026 and make sure, again, that Americans know who's fighting for them.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen, thank you very much for coming on today, as you were central in all of this and had a very late night. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.